Welcome back. We got another episode. We moving and shaking a little different this episode. So first off, I want to give a shout out to this brother Jesse Stewart on Facebook. It's been a long time since I really been on Facebook like that. I'm just now coming back into the fold. Um, this brother, I stumbled across one of his videos. It looked like it's TikTok formatted content that he has based on his reels. Um, in a nutshell, he kind of touched on some of the gems on why the Civil War popped off, and even touched on like one state real quick on word for word in the documentation of why they left the Union. So I just want to expand on that, go deeper in and really just hit on all of the states and just, we'll just take it from there. Fuck it. All right. So yeah, show some love to this cat Jesse Stewart on Facebook. Hit him up, follow him, check all his content. If he got content on other platforms, follow him, get with him. All right, cool. So as he touched on some of the reasons why the Civil War started, a lot of, I guess, Caucasians, white people will try to give it the softer touch by saying it was states' rights, yada yada, which is listed. Even the AI will give you that as reason number two. The brother Jesse Stewart was basically saying slavery was number one. The AI clearly agrees. The primary and most significant cause, the Southern economy relied heavily on slavery, especially in agriculture, cotton, while the North increasingly opposed this expansion. So there was, pretty much opposition and debate on all levels of slavery. My further 2 cents is, you know, they was like, up north, they probably was like, yo, we paying motherfuckers to produce goods. And in the south, they got these slaves working for free. You know what I mean? So you have like two competing economies, more of a manufacturing, shipbuilding, whatever up north versus the plantation. But the long and short, we all know the main reason was slavery. Um, so I ain't even gonna really touch on these other four reasons because the brother, in his 2 minute video, he kind of sums all this up pretty much succinctly, like boom, boom, boom. Um, so I was also kind of just checking to see who else was helping the South, right? Because they had help. So what it broke down, it was saying that Britain, while in official manner didn't help, they still had, help financially, indirectly, right? So it says some British shipbuilders constructed vessels like the CSS Alabama for the Confederacy, but this caused diplomatic tension with the U.S., leading to post war claims, aka the Alabama claims. So you had companies, corporations, however you want to put it, that were over there that were assisting the Confederacy to a degree. Well, here's some of the different areas where the British were providing aid indirectly. So as we touched on, shipbuilders, I just mentioned that one. Merchants and arm dealers. And this should name and names the AI on that ass. So boom, it says British firms such as Fraser, Tenholm and Company, based in Liverpool and Charleston, served as the Confederacy's unofficial foreign bankers. They arranged cotton sales and used the proceeds to purchase arms and supplies. Confederate agents, e.g., James D. Bullock, worked through British firms to secure war material. Foreign agent, secret agent and mastermind of the Confederate Navy. And there you have it. So, anyway, moving along. French interests. While the French government under Napoleon never formally supported the Confederacy, French arms dealers and financiers sold weapons and supplies. Everybody was trying to get money. And then, of course, the Rothschilds always gonna pop up in some shit because they was in all type of shit. So there should be no news flash. But it's saying that they didn't back the South because they were clearly backing the Union and handling the money affairs for the Union. Erlanger Loan, 1863. Emile Erlanger and Company, a French banking firm with German Jewish roots, did provide a notable loan to the Confederacy. Pretty much about roughly $3 million in today's terms of money that they provided the loan for in exchange for cotton-backed bonds. So that's the closest thing to private European funding that the South received, as it was partly successful but undermined by the Union blockade, which made it hard for them to get that cotton to their people over there in Europe. So there's all of that. So, of course, the next thing I wanted to just really touch on, that the brother, he gave us the gem. So now we're going into the mine to dig the rest of it out. All right, boom. The 11 southern states that succeeded from the Union: South Carolina, Mississippi, Florida, no surprise there, Alabama, Georgia, Louisiana, Texas, Virginia, Arkansas, North Carolina, and Tennessee. So those are the states that would form the Confederate States of America. So now as we run down the line, as dude kind of gave us a quick glimpse of one of the states, I forgot what state he mentioned in his video, and showed like the actual document. We're just gonna go line for line, state for state, and the AI is so helpful. It just gave us each, the link to each state for their declaration of secession. All right, so we're gonna start with South Carolina. And here we go, word for word. Hit that Control F on that ass. We're just gonna jump to slavery and see what we get. First instance. So, the victory of the Republican presidential candidate Abraham Lincoln in the 1860 elections convinced South Carolina legislators that it was no longer in their state's interest to remain in the Union, first and foremost. And then it goes on to say in sentence number 2, South Carolina declared its secession from the United States. Sentence number 3. This is a long ass sentence, goddammit. But anyway, citing an increasing hostility on the part of non-slaveholding states to the institution of slavery. Let that sink in. South Carolina insisted that the northern states had breached their constitutional obligation to enforce federal laws like the Fugitive Slave Act. So these niggas is mad that the federal government did not want to enforce slavery, word for word, and had united in the election of a man to the high office of the President of the United States who would inaugurate a new policy hostile to the South and destructive of its beliefs and safety. We therefore, the people of South Carolina, have solemnly declared yada yada yada, blah blah blah. So these motherfuckers were mad that they were being opposed on the issue of slavery. Slavery is why they just said, fuck it, we out. Word for word. So that's South Carolina. Let's move on to Mississippi. You know Mississippi, you know they got some gangster shit to say. Right out the gate. So in their declaration of secession, a declaration of the immediate causes which induce and justify the secession of the state of Mississippi from the federal union. Yada yada, blah blah blah. Paragraph number 2. Our position is thoroughly identified with the institution of slavery. I would pound the table, but I don't want to fuck around and accidentally break this bitch. They said the state of Mississippi is thoroughly identified with slavery, the greatest material interest of the world. Its labor supplies the product which constitutes by far the largest and most important portions of commerce of the earth. None but the black race can bear exposure to the tropical sun. They doubled down. They said Mississippi is a slavery institution. And then they said none but the black race can bear the exposure of the tropical sun, meaning the original white slaves that these white people never mention, even though they say, well, everyone was a slave. Only the black people were clearly genetically enhanced or superior to be able to work under such horrible fucking conditions and not drop dead in this forced slave situation under that hot ass sun. Because the original Irish slaves were literally dropping dead. And even though I'm straying off topic a tad bit, they say that one black slave was equal to about 10 Irish slaves. That right there, word for word, is telling you why. Anyway, they go on to say a blow at slavery is a blow at commerce and civilization. That motherfucker right there. It's right there. So there's no need to even really skim on down. Yada yada yada. They mad also that the fugitive slave law was, I guess, nullified at the federal level. Blah blah blah. It has made combinations and formed associations to carry out its schemes of emancipation in the states and wherever else slavery exists. So they low-key making references probably to the abolitionists, the Quakers, the actual Underground Railroad people, you feel me? So all you motherfuckers that have been helping runaway slaves and that are opposing slavery, y'all got us fucked up. That's what they saying. Next. So that's Mississippi. Moving on to Florida. Home of the bullshit. Oh, so look like that site is down. Alright, well, I'll still find that motherfucker. Don't get it fucked up, man. Pull up some shit. Bam. Drop that shit in there. Florida. Local.gov, Florida State University, Florida Constitution. Let's see. Florida Constitution Revision Commission. Constitution of 1861 for Florida. Form of government for the people of Florida. We're on it. All right, cool. So, close enough. Alrighty, so what are they saying here? These motherfuckers look like they saying a bunch of long-winded shit to say that they also are mad. Blah blah blah, yada yada, fuck out of here. So they saying a bunch of high-level fancy shit without really saying nothing up there. Let's see, that the great and essential principles of liberty and free government may be recognized and established. We declare that all free men, they basically trying to say Caucasians, when they form a social compact, are equal and have certain inherent and indefensible rights, among which are those of enjoying and defending life and liberty, of acquiring, possessing, and protecting property and reputation, and of pursuing their own happiness. So in section 22, the General Assembly shall have power to tax the lands and slaves of non-residents higher than the like property of residents. So they're equating slaves to property, word for word, in this Florida 1861 Constitution. Section 27. The General Assembly shall have the power to create special tribunals for the trial of offenses committed by slaves, free Negroes, and mulattoes. They didn't give a fuck, nigga. Full nigga, half nigga, free nigga, slave nigga. Yada yada yada. You get the drift. Moving on. Section 1 of Article 9, Census and Appointment Representation. Section 1. The General Assembly shall, in the year 1865, and every 10th year after, cause an enumeration to be made of all inhabitants of the state, and to the whole number of free white inhabitants shall be added 3/5 of the number of slaves, and they shall then proceed to apportion to the representation equally among the different counties, according to such enumeration, giving, however, one representative to every county, and increasing the number of representatives on a uniform ratio of the population, according to the foregoing basis, and which ratio shall not be changed until a new census has been taken. So there's your 3/5 of a person right there. For Florida. Article 15, General Provisions, Section 1. The General Assembly shall have no power to pass laws for the emancipation of slaves. The plan was to never fucking free us. According to the Papal Bull Dum Diversis from 1452, the Pope told all Caucasian leaders in Europe and in the New World, these Negroes, Moors, Saracens, whatever, Muslims, whatever code words they was using to identify us globally, enslave these motherfuckers for perpetuity. It's word for word. Check my video I did on that. All right, so I think we aired out Florida. The Constitution of 1861 says everything that needs to be said. And we're going to slide on down to Alabama. Digital archives.alabama.gov. And here we have it. The original document and then the scanned breakdown. Let's see. So the Ordinance of Secession, adopted by Alabama Constitutional Convention of 1861. The ordinance declares that the state of Alabama now withdraws and is hereby withdrawn from the Union known as the United States of America, and henceforth ceases to be one of said United States, and is, and of right ought to be a sovereign and independent state. It also proposes the creation of a new government among states with similar interests, and it is the desire and purpose of the people of Alabama to meet the slaveholding states of the South who may approve such purpose in order to frame a provisional as well as a permanent government upon the principles of the Constitution of the United States. So, for all you revisionist motherfuckers out there, your own foundational documents point you out. Your own foundational documents tell us that you are evil and that y'all are devils, and this is why you're called the devil. Now, that we were like, you know, I mean, that was just a quick clip. That wasn't even the whole brat brat. That was just a bomb to the head. Done. 5, Georgia, the Library of Congress. Oh, wait a minute. So these are all of the damn people responsible. Bullock, Burke, Bibb, all of the counties, representatives from all of the counties here listed below. They look like Gwinnett, no signers from Gwinnett County. I'm surprised. See, they were a little slick really with their shit. They didn't mention slavery. It looked like a little reason for leaving. You know, they were pretty slick with this one. But moving on. We're gonna slide on down to Louisiana. Some tell me that these boys was a little bit more out in the open with their shit. Ordinance of Secession of Louisiana. Yada. Yeah, so they was on the same time as Georgia. They was slick really with their shit. They was like, we ain't gonna say why we leaving, but we leaving. Even though they little teammates from the other states pretty much aired them out and said we banding together because we all agree to slavery. Whole ass niggas. All right, moving along to Texas. Oh, Texas is straight and direct with their shit. All right. February 2nd, 1861, a declaration of the causes which impel the state of Texas to secede from the federal union. Blah, blah, blah. Texas abandoned her separate national existence and consented to become one of the Confederate states to promote her welfare, ensure domestic tranquility, and secure more substantially the blessings of peace and liberty to her people. Pardon me. She was received into the Confederacy with her own constitution, under the guarantee of the federal constitution and the compact of annexation, that she would enjoy these blessings. She was received as a commonwealth, holding, maintaining, and protecting the institution known as Negro slavery, the servitude of the African to the white race within her limits, a relation that had existed from the first settlement of her wilderness by the white race. This is Texas talking their shit. beating their fucking chest, nigga. We ain't hiding. We white supremacist devils from the gate, nigga. That's what they saying in their constitution. All right. Her institutions and geographical position establish the strongest ties between her and other slave holding states of the Confederacy. So there's no need to even go any further for Texas. So anybody trying to bob and weave these motherfucking facts, niggas is allergic to books, they allergic to the internet, they allergic to research, they allergic to reading. We done listed, we had 7 of the 11 states that either directly admitted to slavery and nigga, we slaving to the death type shit. And they implicated they other buddies who was trying to be slick by not putting the words clearly in their constitutions or their succession documents. You know what I'm saying? Virginia, the home of the most racist motherfuckers on the East Coast. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go on ahead. See how slick. Okay, right out the gate. So, so basically in the second paragraph, they go on to say, the people of Virginia, in their ratification of the Constitution of the United States, adopted by them in convention on the 25th day of June in the year of our Lord, 1788, having declared that the powers granted under the said Constitution were derived from the people of the United States and might be resumed whensoever the same should be perverted to their injury and oppression. And the federal government having perverted said powers not only to the injury of the people of Virginia, but to the oppression of southern slave-holding states. Talking all of this freedom shit. Nigga, you oppressing us free white slave owners, niggas. You feel me? That's what they saying. We feel oppressed. We can't do these niggas foul. We can't treat them as sub-fucking humans. So therefore, we are oppressed. That is why we're leaving the Union. That's what they saying, low key and high key. Next, we done with fucking Virginia. Arkansas trying to be Slick Willie with it. They clearly talking about dissolving their union between this state and the United States of America. They mention Abraham Lincoln. From a legal type of standpoint, they slick really they way through this. They clearly not giving you a word for word that they were all about slavery. But once again, all of the partners in this 11-state pact, you know, out of the 11, most of them motherfuckers told you why they joined together, because they are of the same mind, the same ideologies, the same views. We all endorse slavery. All right, so moving on from Arkansas, they slick really they way through that little document. North Carolina, let's see what they saying. Yeah, they slick really they way through this document. So they saying that they leaving, but they don't want to say why they leaving. Tennessee, we're gonna wrap this thing up. Do we got a Slick Willie situation? Yeah, they Slick Willie this shit. Well, either way, about half of these 11 states told you word for word, because they just didn't give a fuck, and they were that direct in their evil doing. Like, yeah, nigga, we doing slave shit. We enslaving motherfuckers. and we leaving because we don't want to fuck with the other white people who are against it. So when we talk about, or when I talk about white people, you know what I mean? It's like no different than talk about black people or Asian people or anybody else. You got good people, you got bad people, you know what I mean? And then you got the opposition. Somebody could be bad but not be opposition. These motherfuckers who were on this 11 man, 11 state team situation, Confederacy, they were the opposition to the ancestors' freedom and way of life. So therefore, they are fucking devils. And in the comments for the white people who might be in their feelings, well, why we gotta be devils? The devil means the adversary, the opposition. So if every man, according to the Constitution, is supposed to have freedom and the pursuit of happiness, the right to that, and you clearly preventing my ancestors from enjoying that shit, like your ass is enjoying that shit. You feel me? You the opposition. You a devil. If you don't feel that way, then you good. But you sort of good because shit, you still sat on the sidelines, past, present, and future, while motherfuckers was being done greasy. All right, so we're gonna wrap that up. Just want to get that one out there real quick.